This is Barry Zalma speaking for Zalma on Insurance on YouTube. I am a lawyer retired from the practice of law who now spends his time acting as an insurance claims consultant, an insurance claims expert witness, an author, and producer of these videos. Today we're going to talk about the Homeowners 3 special form, the basic policy that is issued to most individuals in the United States who seek coverage for their home, their contents, and their personal liability. The special form, usually issued by the American Association of Insurance Services under Form HO 0003/0106 and its newer versions, is used as a basis for my analysis. Samples are available on the internet by simply putting the number in, and you'll find the entire form. The following analysis is of the important parts of the basic homeowners insurance policy. Unlike the standard fire insurance policy, the Homeowners 3 is written in easy-to-read language rather than precise legal wording. The following analysis is presented to assist the person insured in reading the policy, but is not intended to be a replacement for actually reading the entire wording of the policy with consideration of the facts of any loss to which the policy might apply. The policy begins with an insuring agreement, and it states that the policy is subject to all of its terms, provides the insurance described during the policy period. In return, you, the insured, must pay the required premium. Each of the principal coverages described in the policy applies only if a limit is shown in the declarations page. That's basically the first page of the policy that lists who's insured, the policy number, the policy coverages available to the basic insured, and the limits of liability for each particular coverage. This is the basic agreement telling the insured that coverages only exist if they are specified on the declarations page. Regardless of coverages provided by the basic wording, if not specified in the declarations page, there's no coverage for that particular risk. The policy also contains specific definitions that take the basic 22 terms whose special meaning is defined in the policy, and even if its common meaning means one thing, in interpreting the policy, the meaning is limited to that defined in the policy. Some of the words include the word insured. The words you and your mean the person or persons named as the insured on the declaration. This includes your spouse if a resident of your household. Not included in the definition are family members other than a spouse, friends, wards, or visitors. Only those named in the declarations page and the named insured spouse if a resident of the household are insured. The policy defines the term actual cash value to mean the cost to repair or replace property using materials of like kind and quality to the extent practical, less a deduction for depreciation however caused. The definition takes away the ability of courts to use multiple different definitions of actual cash value that include fair market value and the broad evidence rule. Some homeowners policies issued by specialty insurers will include a definition of actual cash value that defines it as fair market value. It is important to determine which policy you have. Business is defined as a trade, a profession, or an occupation, including farming, all whether full-time, part-time, or occasional. Described location means the 1 to 4 family house, the townhouse, or the row house where you reside, and which is shown on the declarations as the described location. It includes related private structures and grounds at that location. It is essential, therefore, that the insured resides at the dwelling described in the declarations. Failure to do so can allow the insurer to refuse coverage in the event of a loss. Fungi is defined as any kind or form of fungus, including but not limited to mildew and mold, and any chemical matter or compound produced or released by a fungus, including but not limited to toxins, spores, fragments, and metabolites such as microbial volatile organic compounds. This definition is keyed to an exclusion because of hundreds of lawsuits filed against insurers for damage caused by fungi, not intended to be insured, but which was insured as a result of court decisions. Insured premises is defined as the described location, that part of any other premises used by you, the insured, as a resident and shown on the declarations as an insured premises. Occurrence means an accident, including repeated exposures or similar conditions that results in bodily injury or property damage during the policy period. This definition is essential to the understanding of what is covered by the liability provisions of the homeowner's policy, since it insures against the insured's liability resulting from an occurrence. Property damage is defined as physical injury to or destruction of tangible property or the loss of use of tangible property, whether or not it is physically damaged. The homeowner's policy provides coverage for damage to your residence and its contents. It explains that the property coverages available are coverage to the residence on the described location, which includes additions attached to the residence and built-in components and fixtures, as well as building materials and supplies located on or adjacent to the described location. After this detail explains what is covered, then the policy explains what is not covered. We do not cover land, including the land on which covered property is located, except as provided under the incidental property coverage for liquid fuel remediation, underground water or surface water, trees, plants, shrubs, or lawns except as provided under the incidental property coverage, grave markers or mausoleums except as provided under the incidental property coverage for grave markers. Coverage B provides coverage for related private structures. Coverage C provides coverage for personal property, although some types of personal property are not covered, such as animals, birds, fish, or insects, motorized vehicles, aircraft, hovercraft, property of roomers, boarders, or other tenants, loss that results from credit cards, electronic fund transfers, transfer cards, grave markers, land, underground water or surface water, trees, plants, shrubs, or laws except as provided elsewhere. Additional living costs and loss of rents are provided, giving the insured the election to either obtain additional living expenses above that normally expended if the event of a loss, if you must move from the premises or live elsewhere, or the rental value of the home if it is not livable. There are also incidental property coverages such as collapse, debris removal, emergency removal, increased cost due to a change in an ordinance or law, loss assessments, trees, plants, shrubs, or lawns are all available depending on the election of the insured when the homeowner's policy is acquired. The first party portion of the homeowner's policy insures against certain enumerated perils or risks of loss. The policy insures the insured against the risk of loss under coverage A and coverage B of direct physical loss, unless, of course, the loss is excluded under the coverages specified as exclusions. This language replaced the old all risks of physical loss coverage because the word all eliminates nothing. The language requires the insured to prove that there is a direct physical loss to the property and that it was not excluded. Some exclusions include freezing, discharge, leakage or overflow from a plumbing, heating, air conditioning, or automatic fire protective sprinkling system, water heater, or domestic appliance. Freezing, thawing, pressure or weight of ice or water. Theft of materials or supplies for use in construction. Vandalism or malicious mischief if the residence was vacant for more than 60 days in a row. Water, humidity, moisture, or vapor. Collapse or impairment of structural integrity. Settling, cracking, shrinking, bulging, or expansion of bulkheads, ceilings, floors, footings, foundations, patios, paved areas, roofs, or walls. Birds, vermin, rodents, insects, or animal-caused damage. Smoke from agricultural smudging or industrial operations. Pollutants. Wear and tear, marring, or deterioration, including mechanical breakdown, inherent vice, rust, or other corrosion or pressure from the presence of roots, trees, plants, shrubs, or other vegetation. Coverage C, personal property, is different in that instead of insuring against all risks of direct physical loss, the policy specifies perils insured against that cover only personal property. And these perils include, or risks of loss include, fire or lightning, windstorm or hail, explosion, riot or civil commotion, aircraft, including self-propelled missiles and spacecraft, vehicles, sudden and accidental damage from smoke, volcanic eruption but not earthquake, land shock waves, or tremors, vandalism or malicious mischief, theft with multiple limitations, falling objects, weight of ice, snow, or sleet that causes damage to property inside a building, sudden and accidental tearing apart, cracking, burning, or bulging of a steam or hot water heating system, accidental discharge or overflow of water, steam from a plumbing, heating, air conditioning, etc. unit, sudden and accidental damage from artificially generated electrical currents, and sinkhole collapse. Even though the perils insured against are limited to the 16 listed, the homeowner's policy adds exclusions that apply to both the direct risks of physical loss and the named peril coverages. The exclusions are subject to the following caveat to avoid the concurrent cause law imposed by some jurisdictions. The policy states, quote, "We do not pay for loss or damage caused directly or indirectly by one or more of the following excluded causes or events. Such loss or damage is excluded regardless of other causes or events that contribute to or aggravate the loss, whether such causes or events act to produce the loss before, at the same time as, or after the excluded causes of events. These exclusions apply whether or not an extensive area suffers damage from or is affected by the excluded cause. The causes of loss that are excluded include ordinance or law, civil authority, nuclear hazard, war and military action, neglect, earth movement, water damage, power failure, intentional acts, bacteria, fungi, wet rot or dry rot, weather conditions, and errors, omissions, and defects. The policy also contains conditions that must be fulfilled by the insured before there is any possibility of recovery of the indemnity promised by the policy. These conditions include 1. That the insured may not abandon property to the insurer. 2. Disputes as to the amount of loss must be resolved by appraisal, a type of arbitration with two-party appointed appraisers and the two-party appraisers then appointing an umpire. 3. All payments will include loss payees added to the policy, including lenders, mortgagees, or others listed as a loss payee. If a mortgagee is named, the loss will be payable to the insured and the mortgagee. There can be no benefit allowed to a bailee. The policy only covers the losses that occur during the policy period from 12:01 a.m. Standard Time on the inception date to 12:01 a.m. Standard Time on the expiration date. No suit can be brought unless all the terms applied to the property coverage have been complied with, and suit is brought within 2 years after the loss. All volcanic eruption that occurs within a 72-hour period is considered a single occurrence. In addition, the insured is required, if requested by the insurer, to submit a sworn statement in proof of loss, and if required, to produce documents and appear for examination under oath. This video was adapted from my book, The Homeowner's Insurance Policy, which is available from Amazon.com as both a Kindle book and as a paperback. It can also be obtained along with all of my other books from my website, zalma.com, by clicking on the link to the Insurance Claims Library. If you found this video to be interesting and useful to you, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can view this and all other videos I have produced and will produce in the future. Thank you for your attention.